Ahora sí, muchachos, saludos. Al parecer
What
que
I have just
está
described is only a
Nancy
small
Pelosi y todos
fraction
los
of the common
demócratas
sense
están ahí
revolution that is now,
que no
because of
aguantan
us,
presión.
sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen.
Wow.
Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare.
Tirándole a los demócratas
Their
como quieren.
policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. Then
La peor inflación que ha habido.
As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
Y está haciendo lo posible para que entonces sea Estados Unidos justo de nuevo.
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control.
Joe Biden hizo que el precio de los huevos se fuera fuera de control.
And we're working hard to get it back down.
Estamos trabajando para bajar el precio.
You inherited a total mess from the previous administration.
Que los huevos. Mira cómo están ellos, muchachos.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
Sí, ha estado reduciendo supuestamente lo que es el precio de la gasolina y todo eso, el 95%. Ahora están. Pero vamos a ver si es verdad. Francamente no hemos visto nada al respecto. Y en realidad eso está enfocándose mucho en lo que son los autos electrónicos.
And by far, and now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Ay, Virgen, Señor, gente. Qué locura, de verdad, qué locura.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa, ¿verdad? Ahora mismo y qué es lo que él dice más respecto con eso.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
Okay, sobre los impuestos. Ahora sí que va a estar bueno esto.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it.
El nuevo departamento, DOGE. Ay, Virgen, y los mozos ahora.
Who is in the gallery tonight.
Míralo ahí, Elon. Ay, Virgen. Mira que está ahí la Barbie.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this.
Él no necesita
Thank you
esto.
very much. We appreciate it.
Pero gracias,
Everybody
gracias.
here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe.
Y también en este lado te lo aprecio.
They
Te lo
just
agradezco.
don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of
Estos son millones.
sedentary migrants.
¿Qué tú harías con todos esos millones ahora mismo? Con o el 5, es más, el 10% de esos
$8 million to
millones.
promote LGBTQI+.
Mira
in
para
the
allá.
African nation of Lesotho, which
Tiene más nombre que...
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender.
Mira para allá.
This is real.
No, está brutal,
$32
hermano, como se lo tripe a
million
esa
for a
gente.
left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street.
Esos son los millones de dólares que se han estado perdiendo en personas que han querido cambiarse el sexo, brother. Eso es algo como que...
$1.9 billion to recently created decarbonization
Yo no sé, de
of
verdad.
Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City.
Wow. Dejando personas ilegales y millones de dólares allá en la...
$250,000
en los
to
hoteles en
increase
Nueva York, eso es
vegan
verdad.
local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far
Wow,
worse,
eso es
but I
verdad,
didn't
eso
think it was
fue una estafa
appropriate
grande.
to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated.
¿Cómo tú me dices a
by
mí que te van a estar
very
dándole tanto y tanto
intelligent,
dinero y
mostly
botando
young
tanto
people,
dinero personas que ni siquiera
headed
estaban
up by
ni vivos?
Elon, and we appreciate it. We found
Sí.
hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
Y después dicen que no lo hizo bien. Millones y millones y millones de dólares, una cosa ridícula que es algo que la gente
And
misma
we've
tiene que
taken
entender.
back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels
Lo
of
va a parar todo,
incompetence
dice
and
él.
probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129.
Para allá.
3.9 million people from ages 130 to 100.
Mira las edades que se estaban pasando los seguros sociales
3.5 million
de las
people
personas en
from
total.
ages 140.
¿Dónde caramba tú vas a pasar tanto dinero?
And money is
Pero
being
tanto
paid
dinero
to
a esa
many
edad.
of them.
Chacho.
And we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid and nobody does, and it really hurts.
Obviamente se estaban
Social
llevando todo el
Security
dinero.
hurts our country.
Es muy obvio.
1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Qué locura, mira para allá. Ese es el secretario de salud ahora. Ay, virgen.
Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229.
1039 de 220 años.
And one person is
Y una persona
at 360 years of
de
age.
360 años o más.
More than 100 years older than our country.
Mucho más viejo que Estados Unidos.
But we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
Cuidar a nuestros abuelos, ¿verdad? Para decirlo así. Y al igual también ponerle más dinero a nuestro bolsillo. Vamos bien. Hasta ahora vamos muy bien.
And today interest rates took a beautiful drop, big beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
Ahora fue. Es la primera dama ahí. El que es demócrata se tiene que estar metiendo contra el piso.
With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated.
Eso es verdad.
And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Como está el demócrata ahí, me tiene que contra el piso. Bueno, que en verdad hicieron cosas que no tenían que hacer.
Have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
Ahí fue.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately.
Tiene que vienen esos billetes para acá.
Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Se acabó lo que se daba.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
Ay, señor. Ahora es que...
Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime,
no tax en overtime, en propina y tampoco en seguro social. ¿Viste? Ahí vamos bien.
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
Los carros americanos, ya tú sabes, van a estar cortando por ahí para abajo.
And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day was cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth.
Los aranceles que supuestamente que van a estar haciendo para los territorios, para las agrícolas y cosas así.
If they do non-monetary tariffs,
si no lo hacen bien, papi paga.
To keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money.
Que va a estar haciendo cuestiones de mover dinero, millones y millones y trillones de dólares. Que lo hizo con China y con otros países, que el cual Biden nunca pudo hacerlo, dice él.
Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion.
Para la inteligencia artificial van a estar invirtiendo $500 billones.
Apple announced $500 billion investment.
Apple anunció 500 millones para invertir.
And just yesterday, Taiwan, Doctor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
165 mil millones de dólares que ellos van a hacer acá a desarrollar lo que es el chip aquí en los Estados Unidos, Taiwán.
And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. all that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
Ahí está. Mucho dinero, papá, lo que está entrando, mucho dinero.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer.
Ahí está.
Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen.
Los demócratas que no se levantan. Fíjate eso.
And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama. Jeff Denard has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff.
Wow.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much, and I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States.
Primera dama, ahí está.
Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act. And this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members,
Mira
and
cómo
other
lo, cómo lo
criminals from the streets of
señala. Ay, bien.
dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
Todas las personas, pues, ¿verdad? Obviamente las que pasaron para acá ilegales, pues ya, ¿verdad? Él dio ahí unas características y ahí entonces, pues ellos están tomando la acción ya de deportarlos para atrás.
And Christy, I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general.
La ICE,
we have to take care of our
Border Patrol, todo el mundo.
Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
Eso fue lo que sucedió, lamentablemente. Le costó la vida a un niño.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
Ahora sí. El que haga algo malo en la escuela o fuera de la escuela, se chavó.
Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much.
De nada.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
El número más bajo de personas ilegales cruzando acá a los Estados Unidos. Ya los demócratas, sonrisa de oreja a oreja, mira para allá.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Necesitamos legislación y esto y lo otro. Lo único que tú necesitabas era más que un nuevo presidente. Diablo. Qué clase de tiradera.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America.
Y la gente no quiere admitirlo, mano, que eso fue, la pasada administración, eso fue, olvídate.
But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly.
Están hablando de la hija de la persona que el cual fue asesinada lamentablemente por unos, ¿verdad? Gente de Venezuela, ilegales, que entraron aquí a los Estados Unidos por debajo de un puente.
One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
Bendito. Ahí le acabo de poner la orden. Lo demuestra a los demócratas. Y entonces a los republicanos acá. La gente no ve eso, mano, pero pues lamentablemente se hizo mucho daño.
Thank you very much. All 3 savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
Ahí está. Este tipo está, mano, que se quiere llevar a todo.
They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle.
No los quieren aquí los
Border
Estados
Patrol
Unidos.
Agent Roberto Ortiz, great guy.
Los gringos están como que, wow. Ya está, sí, thank you.
In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much.
My man.
Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war in America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics.
Wow.
Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Hand bonding. Good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash.
Así mismo es, así mismo es.
They've already started very strong. They're going to do
Bueno,
a
y el mercado
fantastic
ahora
job. You're
mismo
going to be
ha
very
estado
proud of them.
respondiendo bastante bien.
We're also
Hay
once again
varias
giving our
compañías
police
ahí
officers the support,
que se ven
protection,
muy
and
interesantes y que
respect
están
they
respondiendo muy
so
bien, así que
dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make
vamos
it
a ver
easy.
si sigue así, ¿verdad?
The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never
Bitcoin se encuentra en los
forget them.
87.740,
Besides
eso
that,
que
they
está
voted
subiendo
for me in
bastante
very big
bien.
numbers, so I have no choice.
Ethereum en los 2184, que perdió, por cierto. Perdió por ahí para abajo como fue. Solana en los 144.
This month,
Avalanche en los
New York
100,
police
en los
officer
$20, que
Jonathan
diga.
Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at
Bueno,
a
yo creo que
traffic stop
esto va de
on
largo.
Route 102.
Déjame
this week.
meterme acá para entonces
The
pues
vicious
adelantar un
criminal
poco aquí
charged with his murder had
y hablar
21
un
prior
poquito aquí en
arrests
cuestión
and were
de lo que hay. Ahora sí, muchachos, miren, lo que está sucediendo aquí ahora, que estamos viendo aquí ahora mismo, cuestión de que ya, ¿verdad? Donald Trump pues ha dado unos mensajes bastante interesantes y todo eso. Donald Trump pues mencionó en sí, en parte, ¿verdad? Una de las cosas que el cual pues va a ayudar mucho, que sería, pero obviamente para los autos de aquí en los Estados Unidos, las compañías de aquí de Estados Unidos. Eso lo que hace beneficiar, obviamente, que si tú te pones a buscar, obvio, compañías de aquí de Estados Unidos, yo creo que aquí, bueno, ¿verdad? Las compañías, pero de autos, ahora mismo me atrevo a decir que una de ellas sería Ford. Esta tú la ves ahora mismo. Y mira cómo se encuentra ahora. Obviamente esto no es ninguna recomendación financiera ni nada por el estilo, ni de inversión ni nada. Si no sabes lo que estás haciendo, no le tienes que hacer caso a ninguna persona que esté allá afuera que esté compartiendo pues análisis técnico o que comente de una cripto o algo y que ustedes se meten a redes sociales por estar buscando como loco las 5 patas al gato y lamentablemente pues no vas a tener ningún tipo de éxito. Así que te lo digo desde ahora, no lo estoy diciendo esto para que inviertan, te estoy dando aquí un ejemplo. Ya que eso está claro y está grabado, pues la Ford es una de ellas, que es una de las compañías, ¿verdad? Aquí que pues obviamente fabrican autos. La General Electric, esa es otra también, que está aquí también en los Estados Unidos, que la puede también trabajar y verificarla. Y obviamente, asumo yo que podría aplicarle a Tesla por igual. Eso es algo que tú tendrías que como que verificar bien, ¿verdad? Cuál más o menos podrías trabajarla y cómo entonces pues le prestaría algo de atención porque ya que él dijo esa parte de los vehículos, pues eso pues ayudaría muchísimo, ¿verdad? A que estos tipos de acciones, asumo yo, reaccionen bien. Pueden haber otras, obviamente, ¿verdad? Yo no me las sé todas. Pueden haber otras que tal vez pues te pueda decir, mira, pues, ok, esta se ve bien, esta no se ve bien. Pero yo diría que sí, mira, es bueno prestarle atención, ¿verdad? Y que por lo menos pues tengas la oportunidad y pues entonces tú vayas y pues invierta, ¿verdad? Como puedas, sin ningún tipo de problema.